Good afternoon. This is Akanksha Shukla and I am from Information Technology Department from Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. Today I am going to discuss about one of the most important topic of web technology, that is Java database connectivity. It is a kind of interface through which we can connect the database of your web part or of your websites, or you can say the web browsers, or you can say the front end can be connected to the backend with the help of this interface. So this is a Java database connectivity. Basically in this we have 4 different types of drivers. First one is JDBC ODBC bridge driver, ODBC, which follows the ODBC standards. Second one is partially Java based driver, which doesn't use any standards. And the third one is pure Java. It is also known as Net Protocol driver. Last one is pure Java drivers, which is also known as type 4 drivers, and this driver is one of the most popular driver among the 4. Basically in the JDBC connectivity there are some important classes. First one is driver manager, second one is driver, third one is connection, and the next one is statement, and the last one is result set. So these classes plays a very important role in establishing the connectivity with the database. Now how to get the database connection? First of all, there are 2 ways through which we can get our database connected. First one is to load the driver using the class.forName and use the driver manager.get connection method. So we can use this one of this method to load the driver. First one is class.forName method, and also we can use the driver manager.get connection method to load the driver. Second, we can use the data source to get the connection directly, means using data source to get the connection directly. This is one of the second method how we can get the database connectivity. Now how to load the driver? First of all, we write the code. First one is class.forName, and inside the braces we write within inverted commas the name of the driver. Example, here example is given which shows that class.forName, and within the bracket we have written driver name. The name of the driver is com.microsoft.jdbc.sql server driver. So this is the syntax which shows that how to load the driver by using the JDBC connectivity. Now the next method is getting the connection from the driver manager. Whatever the driver you are loading, then in the next step you have to get the connection from that driver manager using the particular syntax. So this is a connection class and this is an object. Okay, so connection, then object connection is equal to driver manager dot get connection, and within the braces we write JDBC colon Microsoft colon the name of the database which we are using. Here we are using SQL Server. After that we use the database name which is JDBC DB, and username or password, whatever the username and password you want to set or you want to provide, you can provide here only. Okay, so after loading the driver, the second step is getting the connection from the driver manager. Next step is getting the connection. Now we are going to get the connection from the data source. So to make the data source, we need to deploy the *-ds.xml file in the deploy directory of JBoss application server. So here an example is given how to deploy the XML file into the directory of JBoss application server. Here application server is JBoss. So from there you want to deploy the ds.xml file into that particular application server. So you can find the sample these files for different databases in the JBoss application server here. Okay, this is a kind of application server. Here XML files can be deployed. Now this is a code or this is a sample, okay, which is showing a normal XML file. Okay, XML, basically the XML is an extensible markup language which we use to store the data, just contrast to HTML, which is basically used to design the websites, or basically used to design the web ends or the web sources. But in contrast to HTML, XML, which is an extensible markup language, is basically used to store the data inside it. Okay, Next one is how to get the connection from the database. So in this, we are using initial context class. After that, we are creating an object of this new initial context. Then data source class, creating object data source. After that, we are using the method initial context dot lookup, and then we are establishing the connection. Connection is equal to data source dot get connection. Okay, so here this line is showing that how to get the connection from the database. After that, these are the properties which we are using here. These are the factory methods which we use in JDBC connectivity. First one is java.naming.factory.initial. Second one is java.naming.factory.url.packages. And the third one is java.namingprovider.url. So these are the some properties, or these are some factory methods which we are using in the Java database connectivity. Now the next one is how to set up the tables. So first of all, what we do, we create the table. So here we are going to create a table, coffees, and we are providing the values inside it. Okay. As we have seen in the database subject that how to create the database, how to create the tables. So just similar to that, we have to create a table here only. Next one is how to create the JDBC statements. Basically, this method execute query is used for select statements, and execute update is used to create or modify tables. Here DDL and DML are used to create or modify the tables. Data definition language and data manipulation language. Now after that, to create the statement of JDBC, what we do, we use the statement class. After that, a statement object will be created, and after equal to what we write, we have to write, or we have to connect the connection dot create statement, and after that you have to execute a statement with using that object of particular statement class. You have to execute the update part. So create table coffees. This is the table name, table coffees. Okay. So you are going to execute the updation on this particular table. Now executing, how to execute the statements. So to execute the statements, we use execute query, and within the braces you have to write the statement, select statement, that whatever you want to select the complete table, or you want to select particular row or column from that particular table, or you want to specify some specific things from that particular table. So whatever you want to execute, whatever the query you want to execute, you have to write inside this braces only. Next one is to execute the update, you have to write DDL and DML statements within the braces here. Now the next one is how to enter the data into the table. So here again we use the statement class with the statement object, then connection dot create statement, and inside this execute update method you have to write the query of whatever the data you want to enter into a table. You have to put the details here. So the table name is coffees. So you are going to insert the values, insert into coffees. The values are Colombian 101 7.99. These are the values which you want to insert the table. The table name is coffees. Okay. Next one is how to get data from a table. So to get the data from a table, you have to use the result set class, and that result set, this is the object of that particular class, and now you are going to execute the query. You are not updating, you are executing the query. So statement dot execute query method will be used here. Now you are going to get the data from a table. So we use the statement select. Asterisk implies that you are selecting each and every content from that particular table. The name is coffees. So here that's why we are writing asterisk here. So select asterisk from coffees means you are going to select each and every data from that particular table, which is coffees. Now how to update the tables. So if you want to update the particular row or particular column from the table, then you have to execute the queries within the different forms. So here there is an updation. So string query is equal to select coffee name, and sales from coffees means here coffee name and sales from coffee is to be selected, where coffee name is like Colombian. So here we are going to update the table using this syntax only. Okay. Now the second statement is you are going to update the string. So update the coffee, which is the name of the table. So we are going to update the table which is whose name is coffee, and we are going to set the total which is equal to total plus 75, and coffee name we are going to update. Means here we are going to update the value of total where the coffee name is equal to Colombian. So inside the table or inside the table whose name is coffees, we are going to update that particular row whose coffee name is Colombian. Okay, so in this way we can execute the we can update the strings, or we can execute the queries, or we can execute the particular part of the particular row or particular column of the table using different queries or using different statements. Next one is using prepared statement. How to use the prepared statement and when to use the prepared statements. Basically, if you want to execute a statement object many times, then it will normally reduce the execution time to use a prepared statement object instead. So the main feature which we use why we use the prepared statement, because unlike a statement object, it is given an SQL statement when it is created. So the advantage or the main basic need of the prepared statement is that in most of the cases, whenever the SQL statement is sent to the data DBMS right away, where it will be compiled. So as a result of this, the prepared statement object contains not just an SQL statement, but an SQL statement that has been pre-compiled. So this is the main advantage why we use the prepared statement, because whenever the result set or whenever the prepared statement objects are containing the SQL statement, then it also contains those statements which has been pre-compiled. So when the prepared statement is executed, then the DBMS can just run the prepared statement, SQL statement also without having to compile it first, because it already contains that statements which has been pre-compiled. So this is one of the main advantage of prepared statement. That's why we use the prepared statement in our JDBC connectivity. Although the prepared statement objects can be used for SQL statements with no parameters, so we will probably use them most often for the SQL statements which are taking the parameters. Means we use the prepared statements for using the those of the SQL statements which are using or which are taking the parameters also. So the advantage of using SQL statement that take parameters is that you can use the same statements and then you can supply it with the different values with different parameters each time when you are going to execute it. So that's why we are using the prepared statement with the SQL statement, because it already has, or there is no need to compile it first, because prepared statement already contains the SQL statement which has been pre-compiled. Now, how to create the prepared statement object? So first of all, we use the prepared statement class. Then the object update sales is equal to connection dot prepared statement. Here, when we use the prepared statement, then we use to put the question mark, or when you this is one of the syntax for prepared statement. Then that you have to write the question marks inside the queries only. Now, how to return the values for the method execute updates. So basically the execute query of the JDBC, it returns a result set object which contains the results of the query which are going to be sent to the DBMS, and the return value for that execute update is an integer value which indicates how many rows of a table were updated. So in the given example, update sales, we are going to update the sales, and we are going to set the integer 1,50, and after that also we are going to set the values string form, in the string form 2, espresso, and here after that we are declaring a variable which is of kind of integer value. The update says dot execute update, means we are going to executing that update statement or update query on the sales table, and here we are going to pass the values 1,50, which is an integer value, and the second one is a string value. Means 1,50 and 2, espresso means 1 indicates the values for the 50 indicates the values for serial number 1, and espresso indicates the value for the serial number 2. Okay. Here n is equal to 1 because one row had a change in it. So that's why first row has a change of 50 and the second row has a change of espresso. Okay. So we are going to change these two values. Okay. First row and second row. When the method execute update is used to execute, then the DDL statement, such as in creating a table, it returns the int value. Okay. So int n is equal to execute update create table coffees. Here n is equal to 0. When the return value for execute update is 0, then it can mean one of the two things. First one is the statement executed was an update statement and which has affected the 0 rows. Or the second one is the statement executed was a DDL statement. So these two indications shows whenever the return value for the execute update is 0, then it has or it can contain any of these two meanings. Okay. Next one is just like in DBMS, we had already studied how to establish the connections and how to connect the things with the databases. So here the use of joins is explaining, and the first one is how to create there is a table which is known as create suppliers. So here we are going to create the table suppliers and supplier ID which is an integer which contains the integer part, and supplier name is varchar and the constraint is provided here 40. So in this way we are going to initialize the values for that particular table, and after that we are going to execute the update on that particular table whose name is supplier. Then we are going to insert the values in that particular table. Again we are inserting the values. Okay, after that in this part we are going to execute the query. Okay, so we are going to select asterisk from the suppliers, means we are going to select each and every values from the supplier. Okay, here the use of join in that particular table is showing, and after that we are going to execute the query, and then system.out.println is used to display whatever the content which is written inside the parenthesis will be displayed in the screen. After that the while loop is used here. Okay, now using transaction. Basically what do you mean by transactions? Basically a transaction is a set of one or more statements which can be executed together as a unit. So all of these statements which are executed or none of the statements is executed, but they comes under the transaction only, because a transaction is a set of one or more statements which are going to be executed together. Okay. Now how to commit the transaction? Once auto commit mode is disabled, then no SQL statements will be committed until you call the method commit explicitly. Means you have to call the method commit explicitly. Otherwise, if auto commit mode is disabled, then none of the SQL statements will be committed. And if so, you are one of the basic thing is also that you have to disable the auto commit mode. So connection dot set auto commit, if you pass the value within the parenthesis false, then connection is an active connection. Here the connection is an active connection. So to disable the auto commit mode, you have to put the value false inside the parenthesis there. Next one is, there are some transaction which shows how to preserve the data integrity. So transaction isolation levels are: in transaction none is equal to 0, int transaction read underscore uncommitted is equal to 1, int transaction underscore read committed 2, int transaction underscore repeatable underscore read is equal to 4, and int transaction underscore serializable is equal to 8. So void set transaction isolation, you have to provide the values int level, and here we are going to throw the exception, SQL exceptions, and then we are going to take the values just like int get transaction isolation throws SQL exception. So basically the transaction is a set of statements which are going to be executed together, and there are some properties which have to fulfill for a particular transaction. These are the ACID properties, which is the most important part of the database. The ACID properties for a transaction. Okay, so you must to know about the ACID properties. Before starting or before move on over to the topic transaction, we must have to know the ACID properties for a particular transaction. Okay, so that's all for today's lecture. And today I had given the overview of the JDBC connectivity, and there are basic 4 main drivers which we use in Java database connectivity. And that's all for today's lecture. Thank you.